That's how I feel right now. That's how I feel. And that's how I want y'all to feel as well. I want you all to also feel the way that I feel, okay? This is a moment. This is an inspiring moment for every single person, okay? Injected directly into my veins. You can feel that things are changing. Things are changing at an alarming rate, you know? Decades happening in weeks. I will get to it in a second, but before we do, obviously, here's one of my favorite clips from, this is a Wow Mouth special, as a matter of fact. This is how I feel right now. This is how I feel. I blasted off, by the way, so let the people know we're live. We're alive. I'm going right into it. I'm not even doing like my regular ass intro and shit, okay? Yeah, business plot on the way. Thank you, Themasius, for the playlist. I cannot wait to do Hogwatch over this, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait to do Hogwatch over this. All my inshallahs have turned into mashallahs. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahs. Alhamdulillahs. No, mashallah works here too. Why wouldn't it? Habibi, can this white boy adopt y'all's Arabic words with my Texan accent into my vocabulary? Alhamdulillah also works. But mashallah also works. They are losing their minds, Unc. I know. They're going to keep hearing Arabic words over and over again and lose their minds even further. The goal here is maybe they'll have maybe a couple of them will have fucking aneurysms. You know what I mean? By simply hearing Arabic words, you know? All right, but this is how I feel right now. This is how I feel. This is how I've been feeling.
I've been taken up to the third heaven. I've been jacked into the big plan. I've seen it. I've seen it. I can't even compute all of it. It's so fantastical. You've not seen nothing. You ain't heard nothing. You ain't smelled nothing like this. I don't have words to tell you. But I tell you, anybody tries to get in the way of the incredible plan the big guy's got for us has got me pissed, and I'm just begging to stay on the team, man. Just put me in the game, coach. Whatever you say, coach. I know I'm weak. I know I'm pathetic. Man, you're amazing. I'm so lucky you made me. What do I do, Bob? Like a hunting dog, man. Just take me out of the house. Just turn me on them. Just tell me what I got to do. Tell me how I serve you. Tell me what I can do for you right now. Woo!
That's how I feel right now. That's how I feel. And that's how I want y'all to feel as well, okay? I want you all to also feel the way that I feel, okay? This is a moment. This is an inspiring moment for every single person, okay? Injected directly into my veins. You can feel that things are changing. Things are changing at an alarming rate, you know? Decades happening in weeks. Weeks happening. Weeks not happening for decades all of a sudden turns into decades happening in weeks, you know? God damn, dude. Anyway, for every single person that obviously played a role in this from the start, give yourself a fucking round of applause as well. For the door knockers, for the canvassers, shouts out the DSA, shouts out the Working Families Party, shouts out the Jewish Voice for Peace. Shouts out to all of the New Yorkers. Shouts out to all of you that called in from all around the country as well. This is the first step of implementing hot socialist summer. Obviously hot, you know, we're doing white boy Sharia summer as well. We're doing white boy jihad as well. You already know. Okay. This campaign could not have been put together without an endless amount of solidarity. Okay. I am so fucking stoked. I'm so stoked. I'm a little worried still. I'm always a little worried, but goddamn, I feel like DSA numbers are about to get base boosted after this one. Holy shit. What is this?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, this is Staten Island. Reporting live from Staten Island.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
More like Stalin Island, dude. What a crazy, crazy, crazy moment. Wait, what? Breaking. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has been hospitalized. Are you serious? Hey, yo, this is what I meant when I said, like, people that can't handle this victory are going to fucking start dropping like flies left and right. Is this what's happening? Is this the reverberations of this first step in the appropriate direction for American progress, for American prosperity? What the hell? What the hell? Okay. Listen. I don't know what the hell happened there, but you know, that's crazy. He had to kiss the ring of one Muslim man for once, and he just perished? Is that what it is? Chuck Schumer. I'm hearing reports that Chuck Schumer has actually said the Shahada and received the light of Allah on his last moments on his hospital bed. He is going to go to Jannah. Okay? Do not worry. He was hospitalized for dehydration. Bro, are you serious? Are you serious right now? Are you fucking joking? DSA recruitment has skyrocketed. Let's go. DSA new member count Saturday 81, Sunday 83, Monday 91, Tuesday 481. Great stuff. Hey, New York DSA, this is your moment. This is your moment. This is your moment. This is, own it. Working Families Party, this is your moment. Jewish Voice for Peace, this is your moment. Lot of people. That's Portland DSA too, for the record. That's Portland DSA. All I'm saying is this. What's this? What's the sound? It's Funk Flex Bomb. Beep, beep, beep. Anyway. Oh, this is national counts? Okay. Oh, never mind. All right. I thought that was Portland. I thought there was like some. Oh, anyway. Grand Ayatollah Mamdani has implemented woke Sharia law. New York City Sharia law, open mind. We are doing Sharia law in New York City. You will be Muslim. Give us 5 big booms for Zoran. Please add in more obnoxious sound effects. It's so funny when paired with your millennial sense of humor. Okay. Calm down. Gay socialist summer incoming. Oh yeah, dude. By the way, I have it on good authority. That the Red Scare podcast girlies and have actually evacuated Dimes Square. Jabuki is on the ground. He's saying there's a shift taking place. Dimes Square era 2018 and 2025 laundered fascist aesthetics and paved the way for the West Village Aryans to rise to power. But now gay socialism is on the way. Dark woke is incoming, okay? Dark woke is on its way. Folks, dark woke is on its way. I can't. These are so stupid. Dark woke is incoming. If you developed an eating disorder during the Dimes Square era, start eating now. I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm having so much fun. That's right. They're rounding up all the podcast girlies that were pro Palantir. Azealia Banks has left the building. She has escaped to Youngstown, Ohio. I have it on good authority that the Red Scare girlies have also left New York State. They're rounding them up right now on the streets. If you were a part of a Peter Thiel-backed podcast, make no mistake, they are coming for you. The authorities are here. The woke Gestapo is here, okay? The Fedayeen are rounding everybody up. They're looking at the podcast numbers. They're looking at anyone who has said something even remotely positive about Palantir in the last month or so. They're gonna put you in a camp. So you need to get the fuck out, okay? Do not be reactionary. Woke Sharia is here. The patriots, the Sharia patriots are in control, okay? I'm on the ground in New York City taking scalps. Glory to Zora. Anyway, so, yeah. Red Scare, when people believe in things. So true. I don't even care about his policies, which are comically R-worded to the point that it might be fun to fuck around and find out. I just find this third world entitlement and nice guy act to be transparent and spiritually antagonistic and have zero respect for anyone. This is what I'm saying. Deport, abort, and deport. It's happening. It's happening. They're gonna find you. Anna, you gotta get in the bunker real quick. Anna, get in the bunker. Anna, the Red Scare podcast is over. It's over. It's over. It's done. Oh. Oh my God. Remember, guys, remember the New Yorker magazine full fucking page on the ugly ass, disgusting hedge fund manager, inbred failed daughters that were like, oh, we wanted to say the R word so bad. We wanted to say gay R words so bad without any additional problems from the wokes. That's why we voted for Donald Trump. That's why we voted for Donald Trump. That's right. Prison. Woke Sharia is coming for you. You are going to prison. Okay? You're going to prison. Do a ableism? Prison. It's over. It's over. Make no mistake. Wait, there's more reports coming in. I just saw Dasha and Anna K being dragged through the streets in handcuffs by teenage Zoran activists in Red Guard uniforms. Hope you guys are happy. That's it. Okay. Just do that the whole stream. No, I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep doing that for sure. Cuomo, breaking news. Cuomo has fled the New York City mainland following its fall to socialist Zoran Mamdani. Sources say he will establish a new government on Staten Island with the goal of eventually reclaiming the entire city. Mamdani has promised to purge all remaining Kuomintang on the mainland. Yo! Kuomintang. Okay. Kuomintang. Are you serious? Your time is coming. Kuomintang, your time is coming. Counter-revolutionary behavior will not be allowed. Do you understand me? Get to the pit. Get to the pit! Okay. Can you explain who Dasha and Anna are for people in the chat who have a job? They're just fucking right-wing podcasters that are really fucking annoying. Everybody in the... They used to be a part of the New York, Brooklyn podcast ecosystem, and then they just became like incredibly fucking annoying right-wingers. And that's it. That's basically what it is. That's all it is. They're just, Peter Thiel associates, basically. And everybody hates them. Yeah, Dasha initially was a Sailor Moon socialist girl. The new Pope of the Dime Square. Yeah. Noah Colwyn. I'm one of the 209, the proud, the few, the woke, Lower East Side. You need to be careful making these jokes. You know there's a spotlight on you, right? Weren't you telling us to soften rhetoric yesterday? Now you're doing the worst optics of all time. Brother, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm obviously joking. That doesn't mean you're not allowed to joke. Okay? When I say I'm going to perform the Hajj to go to New York, the new Islamic Caliphate, that's not me being serious. I'm not doing serious political commentary. Here, let me explain it to every single person who is so fucking neurodivergent that they just like have no comprehension of the concept of humor and jokes and laughter, as I did earlier on the internet, as a matter of fact, because I saw this thing. I saw a bunch of people cynically doing the classic thing where it's like, jokes, no thanks. Not for me. These jokes are scary. That was No Opinion, as a matter of fact, who was doing that. Noah Smith. He said, these people seem bad because Sean McCarthy said, tonight we celebrate. Tomorrow we get the list from Zoran and the roundup begins. And then Muhammad said, the last 24 hours will be an inflection point in the history of Zionism and the entity. And Noah said, Intifada globalized. He responded to that with, these people seem bad. Choosing to shit and piss your pants over people clearly joking about the fabricated racist hysteria around Islamic-style anti-Semitic violence that simply failed to win last night's primary. Suck my dick, okay? You should be, it's okay. You should be able to make jokes about this kind of thing. This in and of itself is directly tackling the idiotic way in which these people whip themselves up into a fucking hysterical position that doesn't exist in the real world. Okay? Calm the fuck down. That's it. Trump speaks on Zoran. It's finally happened. The Democrats have crossed the line. Zoran Mamdani, a 100% communist lunatic, has just won the Dem primary and is on his way to becoming mayor. We've had radical lefties before, but this is getting a little ridiculous. He looks terrible. His voice is grating. He's not very smart. He's got AOC +3 dummies all backing him. And even our great Palestinian senator, crying Chuck Schumer, is growling over him. Yes, this is a big moment in the history of our country. Oh, he's jealous. Oh, he hates it. Oh, he hates it. Oh, he knows. Trump is obviously a zesty queen with a penchant for the arts, okay? He knows someone who's good on television when he sees them, okay? This right here, he's like, oh, New York is finally lost. I hate it. Yeah, he keeps calling Chuck Schumer crying Chuck and Palestinian. Another one, there's more. I have an idea for the Democrats to bring them back into play after years of being left out in the cold, including suffering one of the greatest losses in history. The 2024 presidential election, the Democrats should nominate low IQ candidate Jasmine Crockett for president, and AOC +3 should be respectively vice president and 3 high-level members of the cabinet, added together with our future communist mayor of New York City, Zoran Mamdani, and our country is really screwed. Anyway, once again, guy who positively despises your cause, giving you good advice on your cause, on what to do. Maybe we shouldn't listen to this. You know what I mean? Just fucking win elections, dude. That's it. That's all you got to do. Eli Valley. The Israeli consulate has begun airlifting New Yorkers to Ramat Gan. Line forms on 44th and 2nd Avenue. Helicopters leave every 30 minutes. Oh, Jesus Christ. What's funny about all of this, of course, for those of you who are just tuning in, obviously I jumped the gun a little bit and immediately started the celebrations rather than telling you what took place. But a couple months ago, you guys recall, I went and I talked to this brown Muslim socialist guy who was my age, 33 years old. His name is Zohran Kwame Mamdani, okay? New York State Assemblyman, coming out of nowhere, right? He had great ground game, great charisma. And at the time, I think he was around 10% to like 16% polling in second place. And he had a lot of promise. Most importantly, because he had a tremendous amount of momentum, an activist for quite a while, as a matter of fact, always on the right side of history. And last night, the tremendous efforts of thousands of New Yorkers and even a larger number of people who were calling in and phone banking from all around the country, it amounted to the former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, who was the establishment favorite with $30 million dumped into the fucking primaries, mostly in attack ads against Zoran Mamdani. Zoran Mamdani was able to defeat former governor of New York, sex pest, cop rapist, Andrew Cuomo. Cop rapist, grandpa killer, Andrew Cuomo. That's right. And the Cuomo name in New York is a dynastic name. For those of you who don't know, Andrew Cuomo had tremendous name recognition. He immediately seized upon the Democratic Party machine politics in New York. He designed the New York State Democratic Party machine to his own desires, and yet none of that worked. Okay? It all failed. In spite of the fact that they dumped $30 million in ads to a dynastic name in New York politics with a sea of institutional Democrat endorsements that came in the aftermath, instead of the fact that the New York Times intervened and after claiming that they would not intervene in local elections, came out and did an anti-endorsement of Zoran Mamdani after the last week of endless fucking pro-Israel groups attacking Zoran Mamdani, calling him cynically an anti-Semite over and over again, demanding that everybody reveal, how quickly they would go to the big, beautiful state of Israel, even though that had nothing to do with becoming the mayor of New York. With a tremendous amount of racism and Islamophobia, Zoran Mamdani was able to destroy this major hurdle in the closed Democratic Party primaries in New York. Now, the reason why it's a closed Democratic primary and what that factors into this analysis is, or how this factors into this analysis, is that given that it was a closed Democratic Party primary, Andrew Cuomo should have clobbered. And he thought he would actually clobber this lesser known, young, dynamic, charismatic politician, right? They pulled out all the stops at the last second, okay, and they got destroyed. Why do you support terrorism? Then when someone calls you out, you throw fit like a child. Learn how to write, and then we can have this conversation again. Try it again. You throw a fit like a child. Anyway, Cuomo has name recognition, put almost 30 million. Adrian Adams outperformed Zoran in Williamsburg, by the way. Wait, what? What happens after the primary? Does he go up against a Republican candidate? Yes. But the Republican candidates are basically nice deflection, goofball, lol, you're a loser. There is no deflection here. Your position is not sustainable. No one agrees with you. You have to stay in the hug box. You have to stay in Reddit. You have to stay on Discord servers to basically keep fucking beefing up your position, to assume that there are other people who have who share your worldview. The idea that like anyone who speaks out against Israel is actually a fucking terrorist and loves terrorism, when in fact the average person's position on this is that Israel is the fucking terrorist here. Like it's over. Give it up. Try to figure out a new fucking route here. Trying to hit the "you love terrorism, you're a fucking terrorist" lines over and over again. Clearly it didn't work last night. They tried that shit against Zoran. It didn't work. Young Muslim socialist candidate in New York City, overwhelmingly popular. Okay? Instead of coping, come up with a new way. Come up with a new line of attack. Go back to like liberal Zionism, for example, Something along those lines. You can't fucking do this whole like, oh, you're a terrorist, you love terrorism. Many people have tried for the past fucking year and a half. You got to stop. You got to stop. It don't work that way. It's not working. One must ask the question, why it's not working? Okay? Yeah, look at the New York Times quote. Remember this? Mr. Mamdani, a Democratic socialist, continues to embrace left-leaning views that have become less popular with voters in New York. What happened? Turns out it wasn't less popular with voters in New York. As a matter of fact, it wasn't less popular with the voters in New York at all. Yeah, instead of coping, try seething. Try something else for a while. I saw someone trashing socialist policies because more voters under 50K income per year voted for Cuomo more. Dog, 50K to 100K in the city of New York is literally under the fucking survival rate. Like the people that make 50K, like below 50K, is making no money. Like the number of people that are making below 50K in the in the city of New York is like, I suspect, a much smaller number than the 50K to 100K range. But also, who gives a shit? Zoran's policies actually directly target people who are making 50K in income. 0 to 50K includes pensioners. Yeah, that makes sense too. That actually makes a lot more sense when you look at like Andrew Cuomo's plus 19 performance. Zoran won Jeffries' district, Goldman's district. Like it's fucking over. Members of Congress that endorsed Andrew Cuomo, by the way, and we're going to talk about it all. But
in a shocking turn of events, Zoran Mamdani has declared victory in New York City's Democratic mayoral primary.
Let's take a look at the latest numbers right now. Mamdani has about 43% of the vote, Cuomo with 36%, but the race is not officially over. The ultimate outcome will still be decided by ranked choice count, but Cuomo has already congratulated Mamdani. Christina Fan joins us live from City Hall with more. Christina.
Well, Chris and Mary, this is a stunning upset considering the fact that just a few months ago, very few people knew who Zoran Mamdani was, but the Democratic Socialist ran a grassroots campaign that really inspired younger voters with the promise of making the city more affordable and ended up dominating a vast field of contenders in the polls. An eruption of cheers as Zoran Mamdani took to the stage shortly after midnight, declaring himself the Democratic nominee for New York City mayor.
We have won because New Yorkers have stood up for a city they can afford.
The 33-year-old political upstart and member of the state assembly climbed his way up with a savvy social media strategy and progressive platform. He would be the city's first Muslim and Indian American mayor if elected, and has vowed to implement policies that would improve the cost of living, such as free buses and free childcare.
I will be the mayor for every New Yorker.
Goddamn, so scary, bro. So scary. So scary. Hasan, you got to go back. There was a guy holding the China Daily paper behind the reporter. I don't care. It's fine. Let's keep going.
Whether you voted for me, for Governor Cuomo, or felt too disillusioned by a long, broken political system to vote at all.
Andrew Cuomo, the early frontrunner throughout a race that was his comeback bid after a sexual harassment scandal, called Mamdani to congratulate him. The former governor trailed his opponent by a significant margin in the first choice ballots and is now deliberating if he should stay in the race as an independent candidate.
Tonight was not our night. Tonight was Assemblyman Mamdani's night, and he put together a great campaign, and he touched young people and inspired them and moved them.
Mamdani? Brad Lander can't primary Torres. Jamal Bowman could, and also what's his name? The other dude, Michael Blake, right? I think his name is Michael Blake. He could. He's not in the district, but there are two people who potentially could. I think Jamal Bowman could, and also Blake could as well. And I'm working on that too. Don't worry. What is this? Oh, Bill A. Packman says he has a candidate. Nice. I mean, these guys are fucking incredibly stupid. They have a lot of money, but they are incredibly stupid. So I don't think, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. They have a lot of money, but they're also incredibly stupid, like I said. Bill Ackman is working on something. We'll get to all that in a second. Let's just keep going.
And got them to come out and vote. And he really ran a highly impactful campaign.
On the Republican side, Curtis Sliwa, who...
Yeah, by the way, this is the Republican candidate for mayor, okay? Curtis Sliwa, who apparently, allegedly, according to Chi, has, like 25 cats in his apartment? Like an unsustainable amount of cats, okay? I know there's a lot of cat lovers in the chat. You're going to be like, Hasan, what do you got? What kind of beef do you have with cats? It's not necessarily a beef with cats. It's more so just how many cats he has. Like, actually a crazy amount. He's also a psychotic fascist and once famously beat up a random person, like did a hate crime against a random person on Fox News, like while the Fox News cameras were on. He has, he is just a truly, truly insane person. But also, this was really funny.
New video tonight of the moment Curtis Sliwa was hit by a taxi cab last week. You can see him getting hit, then falling to the ground near Radio City Music Hall. He gets up, walks off. The former Republican New York City mayoral candidate was running between cars and traffic as he was crossing the street.
Yep. No, I love cats, but you can't have fucking like 25 cats in a New York apartment, bro. I'm sorry. That's not allowed. That's not good for the cats. That's not good for the birds, because you are not keeping track of all those cats. Some of those cats are outside cats, and those outside cats are probably running amok. Those outside cats are probably going crazy on the birds. Okay? There ain't no way. My New York cousin sent this to my mom about Zoran, who believed him. Bad guy, raging anti-Semite, raging anti-Zionist, a socialist candidate. He will destroy New York City. I cannot believe this is happening. I'm so upset. Every Jew is upset. We are so happy we don't own real estate in New York City anymore. I'm afraid for what the city will become. The inmates will be running the asylum. That's amazing. Dude, that is the funniest thing because, again, New York City, largest Jewish city on the planet, okay? More Jews in New York than Tel Aviv. They voted for Zoran overwhelmingly. The idea that, there is a real echo chamber amongst Zionists at this point, Zionist Jews specifically, that where they just like sit around and fantasize about like death and destruction coming their way, when most Jews are just like, yeah, this guy, I have New York concerns, I have New York problems, and this guy is going to solve them. I'm going to vote for him. Also, not exactly particularly fond of Israel either. You know what I mean? It's so funny. But like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do to this? What do you do to this? Like, what do you do in that situation?
Ran unopposed, outlined his vision for the next 4 years.
Ever since we went back to the trifecta of Democrats, de Blasio, Cuomo, Adams, we've had corruption and chaos. It's time to return back on track to where we have peace.
Mayor Adams, who was running as an independent in November, chimed in on the preliminary results, posting in part on X, "What New York City deserves is a mayor who's proud to run on his record, not one who ran from his record or one who has no record." And both Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez endorsed Mamdani during the primaries and congratulated him last night for taking on and beating out the political establishment. Reporting live from City Hall, Christina Fan, CBS News, New York.
6:05, and for a look at some of the other results in the primary races for public advocate, incumbent Jumaane Williams is the projected winner with 71% of the vote. That's with 91% of the vote in.
For the Manhattan District Attorney, incumbent Alvin Bragg has 73% of the vote over Patrick Timmons.
In the race for city controller, there was no Democratic incumbent on the ballot, with Brent Lander running for mayor. Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine leading right now with 48%. City Council member Justin Brannan in.
Notably, Mamdani didn't thank either AOC nor Bernie. He didn't thank anyone other than his own immediate base of support. Like, what are you talking about? Guys, if you think the AOC endorsement was not a mover and shaker, you are oblivious to New York. You are oblivious to New York politics. AOC endorsement was massive. Okay, the idea that AOC's endorsement wasn't good is so spectacularly stupid. Please stop. You are looking at this from the outside, and you are trying to make different assessments. Okay, like the idea that. The idea that like this wasn't a like her voice in this wasn't significant, especially in New York. Like, you're crazy. She's like a fucking kingmaker. After today, she is an infinitely more important voice in both New York politics and maybe even national politics than any number of different, like, than fucking Bill Clinton, like a former president. Like, I get it. Everybody gets real fucking weird about AOC, but she was impactful in the moment that it mattered, okay? It's so strange. AOC's endorsement was massively impactful, and they timed it. They timed it for the most opportune moment, okay? That's what it was. I was fearful and worried about how quiet they were about this, but once she endorsed Chi, I was like, okay, thank God, it's over. Chatters are basically fucking fantasizing about this like alternative vision, okay? Yeah. AOC currently, according to Atlas Intel, has a higher net approval rating than Trump. Is Mamdani taller than you? No. It was an obvious win for her politically. Whether or not Mamdani wins, you give her credit for the bare minimum. No, perhaps. And I don't mean to sound like a fucking asshole, but don't you think I might know a little bit more than you on this issue? Why don't you ask someone who is on the ground, for example? Why don't you ask someone who is working within the ranks of New York City DSA, who has played a major role not myself, I'm saying, like, go ask someone that is on Zoran's team how they feel about this, and they will tell you a very different reality, okay? It's the same fucking attitude that people have when they were like, AOC is trying to be an opportunist and take a photo with Mahmoud Khalil. Mahmoud Khalil wanted her to be there, okay? Her people were behind the scenes working in real time with Mahmoud Khalil's team. I don't care if she's lost your fucking trust. It doesn't matter. Just stop making wrong assessments. I'm not saying like you have to say AOC is the person who carries the banner of socialism, okay? But you guys are behaving in this like very weird, you're behaving in a very weird fashion, okay? Stop. It's weird. It feels like parasocial the way some of you guys operate. It is kind of parasocial the way you guys operate, as a matter of fact. Calm down. You are looking at this from the outside without actually even making the proper assessment. They just don't got the info. The parasocial part is the hyper-focus on AOC as some great evil. I know. It was all the people that this happened already. This happened when I told you guys, calm down. AOC is 100% going to endorse Zoran. I promise you, she's going to do it right after the debate. And everybody was like, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And that just took place. That happened like not that long ago. That should have been a lesson learning moment for a lot of people. Okay? That should have been a lesson learning moment for a lot of people. I can't even get through this without all this additional noise. Where were we? Non-USA resident. I have noticed people being weird about AOC because she's a powerful female. That certainly plays a role in it, but it doesn't matter. There's like additional reasons as well. Leftists are understandably very skeptical over elected representatives. Leftists are very skeptical of other leftists. We love sectarian infighting. We love minor ideological disagreements, and we let that get in the way of building large coalitions that will actually win power. All this stuff happens all the time. It's normal. It's a part of the fucking process. Part of the reason why I don't ride for one individual group and will defend PSL and DSA and numerous other groups, unless they're like weird fucking cults like the RevComs or whatever, is because of this reason. Okay? As part of the reason why, although I have my own tendencies, my own ideological leanings, I always say I'm a leftist, right? I'm more open-minded towards social democrats in America, for example, instead of immediately being antagonistic to them. Because I understand that everyone has their own fucking journey of learning and self-development. Okay?
Overnight, a 33-year-old progressive state legislator has pulled off a huge upset New York City's mayoral race, which may tell us something about the state of national politics here. Zoran Mamdani holds a large lead over former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who conceded the primary but indicated he may just stay in this race. Jerika Duncan is here with more. Jerika, good morning. This is a huge upset, considering 4 months ago he was polling at 1%.
Absolutely, and there's more to come. Cuomo says that path forward could include running in the general election as an independent, but any way you look at it, last night was a bitter disappointment for the former governor, who was looking to complete a major political comeback after a series of sexual harassment allegations. Instead, it was Mamdani, a progressive Muslim American immigrant, who came out on top.
Thank you, my friends.
33-year-old Assemblyman Zoran Mamdani, a social media savvy, self-described democratic socialist, has ridden a wave of anti-establishment sentiment to a shocking victory.
I will be your Democratic nominee for the mayor of New York City.
Mamdani, who champions progressive causes like rent freezes and free bus rides paid for by taxing New York City's wealthiest, jumped out to an unexpected first-round lead Tuesday over 67-year-old former New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo. A member of one of New York's most powerful political families.
I had normie friends from Staten Island who were Trump voters vote for Zoran. Fantastic. That is what needs to be done. It's because he's anti-establishment. I think in this day and age, getting attacked by the Democratic elites unironically makes you look better for a lot of fucking Trump voters. It's the Bernie move. Okay? They see that and they go, oh, this guy must be a real one. Getting called vicious smears of anti-Semitism actually plays positively almost for a lot of people. Now, it's a unique dynamic because, like, obviously there are a lot of more moderate Democrats who will be afraid of that sort of thing. But I think Brad Lander played a key role in this as well. Bernie Sanders played a key role in this, but Brad Lander certainly played a key role in this by being like basically a Jewish human shield to the vicious Islamophobic anti-Semitism smears that Zoran was enduring throughout the entire process. So shouts out to Brad Lander. Like literally, he basically just sat there and was like, guys, I'm Jewish. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, we don't fully agree on Israel, but who cares? Like, he's not an anti-Semitic person. That played a big role as well. All of these things play a meaningful role in a victory like this, okay? All of it combined play a meaningful role in a victory such as this one.
Cuomo has consistently topped the polls since announcing his candidacy earlier this year. But his rivals heavily criticized his tumultuous tenure as governor, including the numerous sexual harassment allegations that led to his resignation. Last night, Cuomo said he called Mamdani to congratulate him.
Tonight is his night. He deserved it. He won.
Mamdani will ultimately face controversial incumbent Mayor Eric Adams, who was elected in 2021 as a Democrat, but is choosing to run as an independent in the 2025 general election. Marcia Kramer is chief political correspondent for CBS News New York.
Why should national politics, or what does what we're seeing in New York City say about the national politics?
Donald.
Yeah, here's the thing, okay? There will be a lot of takes. Takes will be flying left and right. They've already started flying. One of the funniest things I saw was the abundance people fighting amongst themselves. Half the abundance people shitting on Zoran and the other half trying to take credit for Zoran's victory. There's a lot of like last second bandwagoners. I don't even care. Great. I'm glad that they're on board. Okay. Keep fighting the good fight. Some of them were trying to last second bandwagon it to be like, see, he won because of us. And then the other half were still like actively daggering against Zoran's unsustainable policies that are going to be devastating. Okay. But ultimately, hopefully everyone can get together and ensure a sound, secured victory in the general, because the fight is not over yet. I am worried. I'm worried about what kind of tricks people might pull. Okay. Yeah. David Sirota called him out as well. Said, huge congratulations to the Pod Save guys, the Abundance guys, and all the Democratic pundits who suddenly discovered Mamdani and started saying nice things about him less than 36 hours ago. As soon as the poly market odds shifted, this victory is all you guys' great work. I wouldn't even say like the Pod Save guys were like definitely nicer from the start to Zoran, even though their position is antagonistic to people like Zoran. But I think that there's an attitude shift happening on the Pod Save side, which will reflect positively for leftist candidates broadly, because they get a lot of motion and a lot of clout within the lanyard wearing class of Democratic Party consultants. They all get their nose from the Pod Save people. So we'll see. Yeah, I saw this as well. Harry Hasan, lesson of the night. Please, Democrats, embrace social media and new media. It clearly works. Like, people who said nothing, people who like were just completely oblivious to who this guy, who Zoran Mamdani is, all of a sudden coming out of the woodwork to be like, see, we did this. And it's fine. Who cares, right? This is not about like, people gatekeeping or people fucking taking credit. Like nobody cares. All right. Nobody gives a shit. The impactful moment or the impactful people behind the scenes are people you will never hear of. It's actually you motherfuckers that are in this chat. Ironically enough, it's the people that I met that work on Zoran's campaign. It's you guys that door knocked for him. Okay. It's just not It doesn't matter. All of this other stuff is noise. What matters most is this movement. What matters most is actually securing by force victories for like-minded, dynamic, progressive candidates, okay? Socialist candidates. That's what matters. That's what matters. And hopefully being able to replicate what took place here in other places as well, okay? That's what fucking matters. That went out and fucking voted. I'm proud of every single person that went out and door knocked, phone bank, gave up some funds. This is amazing. I hope we can keep mobilizing this community in the appropriate direction. And then you have Democratic consultants like Rachel Bytecoffer crashing out about Zoran. She has been nonstop rage posting Lamau because she knows her class of consultants are cooked. I mean, they're all sharks. They'll probably change their attitude a little bit. But yeah, there's a compilation of abundance cope tweets as well. An unbelievable level of cope from the crew whose candidate got 1%. The lesson of Zoran is clear. Pivoting to abundance works. It's been hard being one of America's only serious communists and therefore always being in favor of free trade and against tariffs. The actual I don't know who Cassie Pritchard is. People yell at her a lot. Was she even anti-Zoran? This is why trying to tear down Adam Gentleson, John Fetterman's handler. Adam Gentleson is the funniest one to try and take credit for this. This is why trying to tear down abundance was so counterproductive. When Zoran embraced ideas decried his corporate sellout positions, his numbers went up. The winning formula is anti-concentrated corporate power and anti-red tape. Got to break down those silos to build a big tent. I'm happy to have been wrong. My nerves seeing the early vote come in. It's great to see YIMBY socialism win. Abundance for the 99%. I think she's just, they added her on because that's like a Twitter beef. Like, I don't know enough about her, and I don't know if she was like legitimately anti-Zoran or not. Like, no one man is capable of winning shit like this, okay? It requires a movement. It requires a fucking movement. And Zoran had that. There were a lot of people who worked very hard on securing this W for a lesser known candidate like Zoran. Everyone played a role in this. In any case, yes, this is an earthquake victory. This will have real national impact, okay, for the Democratic Party. This will have a seismic shift. It should have a seismic shift. There will be a lot of naysayers. There will be a lot of pushback. There will be a lot of people in the Democratic establishment that turn around and try to actively push back and fight back against this. Okay? But this is yet another moment where the proof is within the success. Okay? For far too long, people have claimed that if you just keep your head down, have good policies that alleviate people's economic issues, that you won't be able to win. People will say your policies are too stupid. And for the longest time, because the centrist establishment Democrats were so overwhelmingly powerful inside of primaries, especially where they are the most impactful, that progressive Democrats oftentimes cannot find themselves getting out of the primary structure. This happened to Bernie quite a bit. It's happened to Bernie twice, very famously. Yeah, this is funny. I saw this. The Safavid Ottoman conspiracy to conquer New York City. It still hasn't sunk in. The fact that the takeaway from liberal influencers and pundits is social media campaigns equals winning elections completely ignores that Zoran won because he's unabashedly populist and offered voters a progressive platform that is popular. Exactly. People are tired of establishment centrists. Dude, I said this to, I think it was Taylor Lorenz who posted about Harry as well. Harry saying like, social media won this campaign. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I've tweeted a lot last night. Taylor Lorenz said, Democrats can embrace social media all they want and make 1 billion liberal Joe Rogans, and they'll still lose as long as they cling to their deeply unpopular neoliberal platform and align themselves with billionaires and genocide. And I said, To that, I said, also Zoran had integrity, charisma, great policies, messaging discipline, ground game, and a tremendous team around him. And yes, he also did organic social media appearances around leftist content creators because we are all naturally a part of the same movement. Dems don't want that. There is no world where someone like myself or someone like Chapo or someone like Sam Cedar could single-handedly uplift a fucking candidate like Pete Buttigieg, okay? It doesn't work that way. The reason why this was a perfect scenario, is because of not only Zoran, but also his entire team around him, and also all of the fucking real popular mobilization that took place. Okay? That's it. And this is what I've been trying to get across to all of the fucking liberal outlets that come to me and be like, oh, leftist Joe Rogan, liberal Joe Rogan. Are you the liberal Joe Rogan? Will a million liberal Joe Rogans actually change the dynamic for the Democrats? It's like, no, this is not how that works. This right here, the events of last night, the victory in the New York Democratic Party primaries for the mayoral race is proof of what I've been fucking saying. This only works if a candidate is actually resembling the interests of the base, if the candidate is channeling the interests of the base. Every single podcaster could go and talk to Kamala Harris, and it still wouldn't work if Kamala Harris was still running on $50,000 in tax credits for small businesses in underserved neighborhoods or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Cuomo being a sex criminal didn't help. That's not true. I think that people are absolutely playing into this meme that it was actually Cuomo's like sex pest behavior that played a role. Every single Democrat that said he should resign endorsed him. What are you talking about? Andrew Cuomo is literally a incredibly famous Andrew Cuomo is an incredibly famous name in New York politics. The Cuomo last name is an incredibly famous name in New York politics. People kept saying, we don't care that he molested people. He was literally projected to win by every single poll. Looking at the previous, analyzing the demographics of the previous New York mayoral races, and all the people that were polled that voted in previous primaries, all the people that were polled that were voting in previous races in New York, straightforwardly said Andrew Cuomo was going to win. They weren't polling this entirely different demographic of young voters. That's why public policy polling actually was the only group that successfully predicted a Zoran victory. Zoran did something, from what I understand, that Bernie Sanders was incapable of doing in the primaries at the national stage, in the Democratic Party primaries. Bring out low propensity voters in a meaningful way. Bring out low propensity voters in a meaningful way to come out, door knock, and actually secure a dub. Also, this is the other thing that I mentioned. Nina Turner posted, said, reminder, Congressman Richie Torres is up for re-election next year. I said, if someone wants to actually serve New York 15 and the people in it, instead of the apartheid state of Israel, I will be there to help you win. I will knock on doors with you. Let me know. Richie Torres is up for re-election next year. Remember that. There's two people that can do this. Jamal Bowman is one, and Michael Blake is another person. Chiose tweets, never forget the politicians who call for Andrew Cuomo to resign as governor, then turned around and endorsed him for mayor. You people are why people don't trust politicians. You are the reason people are leaving the Democratic Party. Remember their names. That's a great list of people that need to be. That's a great list of people that need to be fucking excommunicated from the party and should be.
Gotham and what the guy running for mayor is up against. That's what it reminds me of. They're taking Wall Streeters and make him walk out onto the ice in the East River as and hope, and then they fall through. Yep. I mean, there is a class warfare that's going.
So what's happened here, I think,
is the rich type.
There's a division.
Man, shut the fuck up, dude. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. Also, going back to the critics, here's Kate with a funny take. I loudly disagree with nearly every policy position the Mamdani campaign took, called the supporters out of touch, and boosted candidates who ended up winning less than 1% as attractive alternatives. Here's why Zoran's victory confirms every one of my priors. This is basically the entirety of the commentariat, with the exception of like obviously leftist commentators. Virtually every single establishment Democrat analyst is doing this right now. Matt Iglesias being one of the most annoying versions of that tweet, of that post. A guy who was immensely antagonistic towards Zoran Mamdani, both on the policy side, but certainly also on the DSA-backed candidates need to stop attitude that he was reflecting. Okay?
Todd Paro with...
What is this? Mamdani victory in New York City could be a harbinger of great things to come for GOP. Oh, Janine Perot says this. What he's saying is true. My friend is from New York City. There's a bit of a problem because it's summer, though. So we're waiting for the winter to do this. Oh, to fucking push all the wealthy people, the bankers, into the sea, into the water, into the river. I'm a little scared. Yeah, you scared, Maddie? You sound scared. I think that if the story is that socialism can win a primary in an off-year election in a place that's way more progressive than the national average, if you have a super charismatic candidate and a scandal-plagued opponent, then question mark. This is cope. Okay? This is cope. What he's doing, what Matty Iglesias is doing, is after fucking shitting on Zoran Mamdani, and not that long ago, talking about how no one should listen to the DSA, no one should listen to DSA-backed candidates. This is your opportunity to fucking embarrass the left, writing a bunch of fucking think pieces while failing to demonstrate that he has the capacity to think at all. He now turns around and goes, these are the reasons why he won. It was an immensely winnable race. Okay, why the fuck did you actually go in the tank for like a 1% candidate then? A candidate that basically got like 10,000 total votes in the entire city of New York. I'm sure people have the Matt Iglesias takes, especially about I'm sure you've documented some of his wrong takes. Specifically the one where he was like, only a day ago. This is me. I disagreed and continue to disagree with nearly every policy position the Mamdani campaign took. I tried and failed to get people interested in other candidates with better ideas. That's because one thing I agree with Mamdani about is that Cuomo was bad. Mamdani winning badly refutes one of my main priors, that the candidate who is leading in the polls usually wins. But to refute my view that his main ideas are bad, he would need to actually govern successfully. And I sincerely hope he does. We'll see what happens. I'm curious what Mamdani fans envision now that the mods have been owned for years now. He's just like, oh God, he is so pathetic. He's trying to reduce this incredibly successful campaign that he predicted was not going to be fucking successful. He's trying to reduce it to like a mere Reddit battle. That's what he's trying to do. And the reason why I'm giving this, why are you giving this dude clout? They aren't even interesting takes. Are you fucking stupid? Because Matt Iglesias is the exact type of analyst, in air quotes, that the Democratic Party listens to. What are you talking about? Giving him clout? He's got the ear of every single fucking mainstream Democrat. The Kamala campaign literally, basically did everything he wanted them to do. I don't think you guys understand. Like, a lot of these fucking annoying centrist accounts get a lot of institutional clout. Oh, this was my take. I fucking got so mad. I mean, I wanted to say something different to him. I said cease posting. I certainly hope he follows the Fetterman, Gallego, Kotz client trajectory. Democratic leaders tried to crush Zoran Mamdani. They should have been taking notes, says Rebecca Katz. To which he responded with, I certainly hope he follows the Fetterman, Gallego, Kotz client trajectory. He wants Zoran Mamdani to turn into John Fetterman. Dipshit. I gave him my cushy Discord moderation job to canvas for Big Z Weekly. Nice. Yeah, he should become one of the least popular congresspersons in the country, like John Fetterman. Can you explain Fetterman to those of us who don't know? He's a fucking ogre and a disgusting, filthy monster who stroked out, and as a consequence of his fucking stroke, became this vicious pro-Israel weirdo, oftentimes even outflanking the Republicans on his unlimited loyalty and support to the apartheid state doing a fucking genocide. And in the process, he also adopted incredibly right-wing positions on virtually everything else while running on a progressive slant initially. How did Iglesias get so much clout? He's just been around, dude. The Democrats love dick suckers like Matt, okay? They love people that, you know, own Vox and all these other like outlets that will constantly play ball and constantly fucking blow bubbles on the establishment Democrat third-way neoliberal policies to try and fucking make it seem as though these are sustainable policies that are actually popular when they're not. They love people like that. You see different versions of this, like failed versions of this in the online independent ecosystem as well. Like, I hope Harry Hasan doesn't turn into one of them, but he very clearly has positioned himself. He's angled himself to be exactly like a Matty Iglesias type, but this time on TikTok. The other versions of this are like, again, more failures because they have a proclivity towards doing sex crimes and saying the N-word, sex pestiny, also known as destiny, or his orbiters like Hutch. They are also trying to do that, but failing to do so because the Democrats are so old that they're not paying attention to anything that's going on in fucking independent circles anyway. But not that it matters, because those guys don't have enough motion because they're not honest. They're not earnestly defending their positions, their worldview. They're simply fucking trying to defend the Democratic Party when the Democrats very clearly, due to their lack of interest in pushing for progressive policies that might help people alleviate some of the economic stresses that they experience, are constantly on the defense and constantly losing. So they're not able to cultivate like a large enough they're not able to cultivate a large enough audience. Former Mayor Bill de Blasio tells me, Jacob Kornbluth, I have looked carefully. I don't see any evidence of anti-Semitism in things that Zohran Mamdani has said. I see a different vision of the state of Israel. I don't see hateful comments about the Jewish people or any other people. And now that he won, maybe we can openly say he was not anti-Semitic at all. Also, Representative Jerry Nadler, co-chair of the Congressional Jewish Caucus, says he's spoken to Mamdani about his commitment to fighting anti-Semitism and will work with all New Yorkers to fight against all bigotry and hate. An example of what you're saying. Oh, is this the... Citing Democratic lawmakers' visits to El Salvador, Matt Iglesias argues that the groups create bad incentives for Democrats. Yeah, using the best possible thing that the Democratic Party has basically done as a negative. Okay? Now we move on. Rabbi Moshe Hauer, Executive Vice President of the Orthodox Union. It is time for Mr. Mamdani to move from disturbance to responsibility and to unambiguously reject and rein in these actors with whom he has been strongly associated. He needs to prioritize the safety and security of New Yorkers over his strong beliefs about what happens overseas. The safety of all New Yorkers, including Jewish New Yorkers, is the single greatest responsibility of the mayor of New York. That safety has been deeply impacted by his rhetoric and actions. Yeah, they're still trying to do this. It's not going to fucking work, okay? They're still trying to do this thing where it's like your words are violent because you say that you embody the overwhelming majority position that like Israel is not allowed to be fucking violent, okay? Israel doesn't get to operate in its own belligerent manner with unlimited support from the United States of America. Yeah, New York City Jewry is older than Israel, that much older than Israel, of course. Dave Weigel reports, Mamdani told me this month that he had braced for the Israel attacks after seeing Bowman campaign firsthand, but AIPAC DMFI never played in the mayoral primary. The Israel attacks came from rivals, reporters, pro-Israel groups didn't mobilize. They will after this. AIPAC did a last-ditch effort and did a mass email campaign on the AIPAC mailer list to say, Zohran, actually, we don't normally get involved in local races like this, but Zohran presents a unique threat. But they came in too late. And they certainly will in the general, for the record. A takeaway from Bernie Sanders on Zohran Mamdani's all but certain primary victory. If Democrats keep running in fear of AIPAC, they will continue to do badly. They don't normally get involved in mayoral race, but there were tons of ads and mailers about Israel anti-Semitism, and many of the donors probably overlapped. Yeah. They dumped $30 million into negative Zohran ads, and a big part of those negative Zohran ads were directly about how he was anti-Semitic. Yeah, look at this. Look. So it seems like the people have spoken, and Zohran Mamdani will most likely be the next mayor of New York. He won the New York City Democratic mayoral primary, says Hillel Fold. This is a man who wants to globalize the intifada and believes capitalism is a danger. Zohran Mamdani has barely ever held a job with just 3 years in the workforce, including his rap career and a gig for his mom. This is a man who's deeply anti-Semitic, who is proudly anti-Israel. Zohran Mamdani took to the streets just days after October 7th massacre, not to condemn Hamas, but to condemn Israel. He co-founded a Students for Justice in Palestine chapter, whose latest announcement is the empire will fall from Gaza to Tehran. Advocating for the destruction of America is not a position that the mayor of New York City should have. Hasan Piker, Americans deserve 9/11. I never said Americans deserve 9/11. This is a lie, but it doesn't matter. New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani. Cool, we should have lunch together and do an interview. That's the photo you see below. He has promised to arrest Bibi, globalize the intifada, house homeless folks on the subway. Wait, he rapped anti-Semitically? Some of his rap is wildly anti-Semitic? Oh my God. Make Zionists so uncomfortable they leave. Anti-Semitism has been skyrocketing in New York for years. This man will take it to a whole new level. So to my brothers and sisters in New York, what is your next move? Because the chances of him being your next mayor are incredibly high. Ooh, sad face. If he gets elected, which he looks like he will you really stick around? Will you move to another city, a state? Or perhaps you should come home, Israel. The world keeps getting crazier and crazier by the day. Jews, please come home. I'm going to quote tweet this. Move to Israel. There are tremendous incentives, and yet they remain in New York City. They're American. If you don't like it, just move. It's what conservatives tell me all the time. The thing is, I've said this before, okay? For an American Jew to move to Israel, there are tremendous incentives, okay? Israel, and in its Zionist project, wants all Jews to move to Israel, okay? That is the goal. And yet, New York is the largest Jewish city on the fucking planet. The Jews that live in New York are American. They're New Yorkers. They have American interests. They have American concerns. They do not have Israeli interests and Israeli concerns. Maybe some feel a semblance of positivity towards Israel, but clearly that is not the primary directive for American Jews. Okay? Because if they wanted to move to Israel, they would. I don't like this fucking idiotic narrative. If American Jews living in New York wanted to live in fucking Israel, they could very easily. The government quite literally incentivizes Jews to move to Israel. The Israeli government incentivizes it. There are numerous advocacy groups that incentivize it. There are numerous 501c3s that will make the trip much easier for American Jews. New York is more of a natural Jewish homeland to the international Jewish community than Israel. Okay? Shut the fuck up. This in and of itself, this attitude of like, no, all Jews actually have dual loyalty. They always want to live in fucking Israel, but they simply can't get themselves to do so. But it's only the fears that they have of anti-Semitism that'll like finally force New York Jews to move to Israel is stupid. And Megaphonic says, I've had family members tell me they'd rather be in Tel Aviv with bombs flying overhead than in New York City. What the fuck? But they're not. But they're not living in Tel Aviv, are they? Are they living in Tel Aviv? No, they're not. They're living in fucking San Francisco or wherever your family lives, which means they don't want to live in fucking Israel. It's that simple. So if you're a Jewish HasanAbi head and you have family members that are saying some dumb fuck shit, okay, like that, ask them, why haven't you moved to Israel then? Ask them that. Be like, okay, mom and dad, you talk a big game about how unsafe Jews are here, but I ain't seen you moving to fucking Israel. It's super simple. I think they might be unhinged enough to do so now. Don't wishcast it. I doubt it. I doubt it. I highly fucking doubt it. Why the fuck would you uproot yourself and your entire life that you have designed for don't feed the Hosbers trolls, you give them Twitter money? I don't care. I mentioned Zoran's win to a coworker, and he genuinely believes that my goat is anti-American jihadist who's going to implement Sharia law in New York City. Fucking wild. Yes, you will hear a lot of stupid takes because clearly this kind of hysterical posturing does have some kind of impact, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you can overcome that by talking about the policies. Okay? That's it. That's it. And clearly, many Jewish New Yorkers also made this calculation. I can't even believe we still are even talking about this. You're laughing. Every guy like this is going to leave New York City and you're laughing. Yeah, I mean, this guy can and should, perhaps. He should be living inside of a prison for being a real physical threat to every Muslim person in his immediate vicinity. Remember this fucking dipshit that worked with the Obama administration who was like harassing the fuck out of a halal cart guy in the Islamophobic fervor that increased, that spiked in the immediate aftermath of October 7. From a New York perspective, I did not know working families had that much motion. They swept all the mayoral primaries in New York. Yeah, of course, working families is fantastic. Working families is fantastic. DSA New York is an incredible force that mobilizes. They showed up. Noah, my friend, they won't give you an exemption. This is also funny because, like, Cory Walker is a AIPAC attack dog, okay? His entire purpose is to serve the Israeli lobby, okay? That's all he does. Noah Colwyn, who is fucking Jewish, who's worked within Jewish advocacy groups in the past, as you guys know, Noah Colwyn, friend of the show, jokingly says, tonight's celebration, tomorrow jihad. And then you got a Catholic guy telling a Jewish dude that they won't give you an exemption. Like, what are you fucking saying? Like, who are you? Like, what do you mean? This is what I mean. It's like all these fucking Christian Zionists, like, telling New York Jews that they're going to get fucking assassinated by this wave of jihad. Who is they, motherfucker? Yeah, Cameron Kasky, another, how this Jewish New Yorker is sleeping tonight. Like, I really hope this stamps out this idiotic notion that, the largest Jewish city on the planet straightforwardly voted for a brown, Muslim, socialist, anti-Zionist after endless fucking smears of anti-Semitism. Okay? It's so frustrating. It doesn't work. Shut the fuck up. Move on. Yeah, Noah said, I have the Ummah pass. Sorry. Motherfucker never heard why we pay the jizya, shaking my head. Third worldism is lame. You should be proud of Israel's success. Odds of the New York Police Department striking during Zoran, very high. Very, very high. Look at Max Rose coping.
Win because he is a democratic socialist. National Democrats should not take that lesson. He won despite the fact that he calls himself that. But the actual policies that he was talking about, I was known as a moderate Democrat when I was in office. I would have talked about many of those things like free transportation, universal child care. These are things that can certainly unite.
Now it's the moderate position. It is, by the way. It is the moderate position, but that's not the way that you were fucking presenting it. That's not the way that the Democrats were presenting it. That's not the way that the commentariat was presenting it. Dickheads, dude. Yeah, move the fucking goalposts. This is how the goalposts move. You're joking, but Vivid Prowess is so scared of Zoran, he's going right into his missile bunker in Gujarat.
Speaking of not lining up well, John Lemire, the Andrew Cuomo for mayor race didn't line up too well for him. The numbers that came in last night, shocking. And here you have the New York Times, of course, with an editorial saying that the winner last night, Mamdani, is not qualified. And then you have the Wall Street Journal, of course, just saying this is no time to elect a socialist.
This is no time. Is there a time that the Wall Street Journal would say is a good time to elect a socialist? There is no good time to elect a socialist. It's the fucking Wall Street Journal.
He's all for globalizing the infantada. I mean, that's, I don't know if that's what a lot of people in New York City think
infantada
they need right now, but it sure looks like that's what they think inside the Democratic primary.
Yeah, it is truly a stunning result in New York.
Globalizing the infantada. Fucking idiot. Jim Cramer's reaction. Oh, buddy. Can't wait to see what my fucking trot had to say about this. Remember, Jim Cramer is a Trotskyite He actually is a he is Mr. Globalize the Intifada. Okay.
It is not the closing of a steakhouse that David Zaslav likes to, and you like to go to. Well, you and I have had dinner there a few times.
Yes. And you and I are going to recreate that place.
The rent's too high. You know what? The new mayor, potentially, of New York is going to freeze the rents, and everybody eats for free, so they don't have to worry.
Really?
Yeah.
But how about the rich?
No.
Do they get shot?
No, yes. They get taken away.
Oh, Jim. Come on. You come from a Marxist tradition, okay? Oh, Jimmy, don't act like you've talked about a permanent international revolution here, okay? Yeah, Jim is actually offended because Zoran is doing revolution in one city only, okay? That's what Jim Cramer is mad about. He's saying, no, you don't understand. I want it everywhere at all times. That's what he's gonna say just now. That's his criticism is of a different tendency. That's all this is. He just has a different ideological leaning here.
Kulaks.
Yes, they get taken away. We have to go.
In 23.
We have to leave now. But everybody else, there he is. Mamdani.
Maybe he's more moderate
winning
than we
the
think.
Democratic primary for mayor and potentially the successor of Eric Adams. That said, there's still a general election to come here in New York. By the way, of course, we're here, we talk about it, but we are talking about a $2 trillion economy. It's not nothing.
It is
he wants to get the rents down. One good way to do it is to stop all business and drive everybody out. That'll bring the rents down.
That's a very good point. Right? Go to Jersey, where I am.
Yeah. All right, I wanted to talk.
Amazing. I'm shocked. I thought Jim Cramer would be talking about how there needs to be an international revolution, not a revolution in one state or a revolution in one city only. And it turns out he has different fears, I guess. Shocking. Anyway, Bill A. Pac-Man, Bill Smokes Crackman has different plans, obviously. They're going to try to make an insane legal case to revoke Zoran's American citizenship and make opponents of his more insane than they already do law. I have a great idea on New York City. I will share it as soon as I can. I was a bit depressed when I woke up this morning, but now I'm optimistic. We are looking into legal issues concerning the potential for another candidate to run now. You are going to need a superhero. You're going to need a New Yorker who is for New York and from New York, someone who is well-known but articulate. Bill Ackman says, I have one. Felix responds, Glenn Dubin is running for mayor of New York. Glenn Dubin, for those of you who don't know, is an American hedge fund manager who was named alongside Leslie Wexner in the newly unsealed Jeffrey Epstein documents. He is a major ally to Jeffrey Epstein, or was a major ally to Jeffrey Epstein. A Jeffrey Epstein affiliate. Maybe they'll run back fucking Rudolph Giuliani. So is Cuomo, by the way. Yeah, of course. And also, Glenn Dubin came out to... he said this, that was funny. In the coming days, I hope someone from Cuomo campaign explains why Glenn Dubin endorsed them. I mean, I know why he endorsed them, but why didn't someone tell Dubin, look, people only know you because of the allegations that you purchased a child bride from Jeffrey Epstein. Were there people who loved the work that he did with Paul Tudor Jones? Presumably anyone who knew him for those reasons was a Cuomo guy to begin with. It's the most completely predictable endorsement that's also incredibly fucking strange. It's like one of those things where it's like, why is Candace Owens like trying to revitalize Harvey Weinstein? Like, it doesn't make any sense. To the outsider who only knows Harvey Weinstein is like a fucking omega rapist, why would someone like Candace Owens try to whitewash Harvey Weinstein's crimes and maybe even advocate for his innocence? It's kind of like that, where it's like, why would somebody come out and openly fucking put their name on the bill and say that they are on board with a Cuomo victory, when the only reason why people even have heard of your name when they Google your name is that you're a fucking Jeffrey Epstein affiliate. I am proudly alarmed about the future of the DNC in the country by yesterday's Larry Summers comes out. Classic. I am profoundly alarmed about the future of the DNC and the country by yesterday's New York City anointment of a candidate who failed to disavow globalize the Intifada slogan and advocated Trotskyite economic policies. Hey, Zohran Mamdani is not a Trotskyist. How fucking dare you? That's Jim Cramer. I fear it is evidence that our party is following the most problematic aspect of Britain's Labour Party. It didn't work there and it won't work here. Harvard and other universities' moral weakness after October 7 in condoning hateful anti-Israel and even anti-Semitic rhetoric and activity opened the Overton window in ways that contributed to yesterday's outcome. I hope candidate Zohran Mamdani, who showed great ability to learn and adapt during his campaign, will continue to evolve in ways that provide much needed reassurance to people committed to a free from prejudice market economy as an American ideal. An important task for Mamdani now is to, like, why? Why would this motherfucker ever, like, why does this guy, Zohran Mamdani, who won in spite of these fucking smears, turn around and now be like, oh, the thing that actually made me popular, the thing that actually showed that I was earnest, the thing that actually showed that I had moral courage, I'm actually going to go back on and become a fucking mealy-mouthed, bullshit-ass charlatan for the establishment Democrats all of a sudden. Why would he do that? It's so fucking stupid. He is an unapologetic socialist and an anti-Zionist. Why the fuck would he go back on that after he won? After you guys did everything in your fucking power to be like, he's a scary, radical Islamist jihadist who wants to kill every Jew. And everyone looked at that and was like, no, I don't think he is. Yeah. As I was saying, you have the people who are like, hey, the thing that allowed you to win, that showed that you were actually an honest broker, an earnest candidate, fucking throw that in the trash immediately. Like, this victory is a shot more so at the establishment Democratic Party and its commentary apparatus. Okay? So you're seeing a lot of the commentary people turn around and fucking either A, take credit for the victory by being like, oh, he actually won because he was a third-way neoliberal, right? Or basically saying like, you better fucking bow down. You better bow down to your masters. You better fucking start talking about how much you love free market capitalism. What do you mean? His whole thing is that he is an honest candidate that didn't do that. That's why he won. The fuck do you mean you got to change all of that now? You got to be fake. You got to be phony. That's how you'll win the general.
There is an active conversation going on inside the Democratic Party right now, a party that has already been soul-searching since the 2024 loss.
Yeah, claiming that Harvard action would have swayed public opinion is hilarious. Completely echo-chambered ass take. Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about Harvard, bro. Shut the fuck up. And Harvard and all of those institutes of higher learning, in my opinion, lost a fuck ton of prestige. Maybe not by like wealthy donors, but definitely lost a fuck ton of prestige by capitulating to Donald Trump and then still getting ass blasted nonstop. The only time Harvard actually got any motion in the positive direction was when they finally said, no, enough is enough. We're not going to fucking cave to your demands, and started actively taking the Trump administration to court and winning legal battles. Harvard is also not even in New York. The better example would be Columbia. Full capitulation by Columbia. And what did they get? Nothing. They just got owned. They basically gave up an academic receivership to the Trump administration like it's fucking Nazi Germany. It's so stupid. The people are demanding fighters. They want real ass candidates who are going to fight these battles for the little guy. And every single elite Democrat is refusing to look at the situation that actually stresses, that actually puts a serious, that actually puts their positions of comfort in serious disarray. And they go, no, you don't understand. You actually won in spite of being considered a radical by people like us. You don't understand. Everybody actually loves us. They hate you. They hate your worldview, even though you somehow managed to win. Deadline White House talking about Zohran right now.
To Donald Trump last fall. And now that soul searching is going to get turbocharged, because what they've just seen here is a potential roadmap to success in New York in a primary context. But they're trying to figure out now, well, how do we apply this to more purple areas that they need to win in order to be a successful national party again? And there's no easy answer to that, because there's a debate here. Is it...
It works. It works in red areas too. A charismatic candidate that harps on the issues that directly impact if you want to localize it, you can localize it, okay? But a candidate that is uncompromising about his values, that also hyper focuses on the issues that pertain to people's immediate economic problems, will fucking win everywhere. Zoran is the method, okay? If you want to help candidates like Zoran in red areas, you have to look to, again, DSAs in red states. There are people like Zoran out there who do want to change. There are people working in local politics in fucking red ass states, in red ass local governments. I'm so unimaginably annoyed by the Democratic Party's commentary spheres absolute fucking inability to address exactly what took place last night, because their positions depend on them refusing to recognize the reality.
This immediately, questions have been raised about whether or not he's just going to be an effective target for the GOP. Way too liberal, socialist. What's been the reaction you're hearing from Republicans?
Yeah, Chris, I think time will tell the answer to that question, but Republicans are certainly eager in this moment to tie Zoran Mamdani to national Democrats. Take a look at this a quick statement from the House Republican campaign arm. Quote, "The new face of the Democrat Party just dropped, and it's straight out of a socialist nightmare," unquote. But there is a larger story for Zoran Mamdani to rise. Take a look at some recent polls. One from Reuters recently says, ask the question, are Democrats unsatisfied with current leadership? By a 49 to 41% margin, the voters said yes. Democrats said they're unsatisfied with their leaders. Also in that poll, should Democratic Party leaders be replaced? By a whopping margin of 62 to 24%, they said yes, Democratic leaders should be replaced. And by the way, this poll also found that Democratic voters think their own party leaders are too focused on certain cultural issues like trans rights, and they want more focus on things like affordability.
Again, you're missing the point. Zoran was uncompromising in defending trans people as well. Okay? He did that. How did he do that? Why was that not a primary focus? Why did that not actually help? Or, I mean, why did that not actually tank his candidacy? Why? Perhaps it's because he had good fucking policies. He had good policies that people identified with. He had good policies that people thought were possible, would immediately improve their lives. Perhaps it's because he's from the city, for example. He's a person who lives in the city. He's a person that has also experienced some of these financial hardships. So he understands the real issues that people are facing in the city that he is now slated to become the mayor of. Perhaps establishment Democrats that have spent most of their fucking past 30 years of their tenure in DC getting lunch meetings with incredibly wealthy people and lobbyists are a little out of touch with the issues that people experience in their in the respective areas that they're supposed to represent. The entire media landscape said Zoran can't win in New York City. He couldn't win in certain areas. Now the Dems can't follow his lead nationally. The goalpost is rapidly moving because this is a model for national elections. Red areas where elections are won by tens of votes, like my area, are a perfect target, and they know this. Yeah, if they're not going to do it, we'll fucking do it. Okay? It's that simple. Harris was clearly flimsy on to people on either side. True, run to your cause. People admire that. Run to the center. You're now uniquely unappealing to both sides. Exactly. It is simple. It's not that difficult, man. It's not that difficult. Here's Abby Stein. Zoran at the rally for trans youth on February 8th. He was polling in single digits. Originally invited him as a part of the organizing team, hoping he would speak. I wanted more people to hear him, hoping more people would support him. We decided not to have politicians speak, but Zoran came anyway. He came anyway because he wanted to support trans youth, even when there was no political game anymore. Honestly, seeing him show up after I had messaged Katie, deputy campaign manager, that he wouldn't be able to speak galvanized me even more to support him. Bro, I'm so tired of these idiot media mouthpieces. Anytime they can't make sense of their losses, they blame us trans people. They act like trans rights are popular. Despite broad misunderstanding over the trans experience, people in general support us, yet we're still used like a fucking scapegoat by these shitload media fucks. And that's the thing. The Democratic Party will never even fucking actively defend trans people, and then we'll turn around and be like, we just didn't shit on trans people enough. That's why we lost. Because they're fucking stupid. The only reason why you're losing is because the only reason why you're even defined as like silly for hyper-focusing on trans people is because you have no discernible policies that people can point to. Okay? Bernie Sanders is pro-trans. Why the fuck does nobody ever say Bernie Sanders is a silly trans advocate? Why? Andy Bashar, uncompromisingly pro-trans. The most popular governor in the state, in a fucking deep red state, as a matter of fact, even though he's blue. How is that possible? Perhaps it's because he just does the work. He does the work. Because Sanders supports Israel. Sanders' support for Israel is unironically a burden, not a benefit. Discourse bot. I can't believe I'm replying to fucking Discourse bot. Sorry, Andy Bashar is the most popular governor in the country, not the state. If you take a principled stance, something that might even come across as unpopular is not an issue, okay? It won't be an issue at all. Just stand by your fucking principles. Don't be afraid to lead, okay? Don't be afraid to lead on this issue. I'm not a politician. I do commentary. But in some ways, doing commentary, especially in this media landscape, is kind of similar to a politician. You have to like behave like a politician at times. That's why so many people are like, whoa, what about the optics of this? What about the optics of that? You're constantly fucking under a sea of oppo attacks nonstop. But the reason why I've been able to cultivate a fucking massive community of like-minded individuals in spite of being uncompromising on trans issues is because it's something that I truly believe. It's not just about being like, oh yeah, go trans people every fucking Pride Month. You know what I mean? It's not like a silly optical reason here. It's one part of a much broader movement, a movement that has a lot of fucking benefits if other people get on board with. As far as politicians goes, like, you're supposed to present yourself and your policies in the best ways possible and become an undeniable force. And you're supposed to do that in an earnest fashion to such a degree that people that might not even agree with some of the other aspects of your campaign go, you know what? I'm still voting for this guy because I want fucking free buses. You know? That's how it works. That's how it fucking works. If you seem completely certain people will follow, even if they don't agree 100%, people need a leader, not someone who will be audience captured. I haven't ever agreed with you 100%, but your moral consistency is what makes you great to watch. Exactly. It's because this is something that I truly believe. The example I always use is Medicare for all. This is a universal policy. It immediately improves the lives of every single American unconditionally. Can you imagine a world where you're advocating for universal health care and someone's like, well, does that mean trans people get health care? Sign me out. I don't want it. Okay. You're a fucking psycho. I promise you will win a lot more transphobes to your cause than you will lose in that process. That's it. There will be people who are transphobic, for example, who will be like, well, I still want the health care. You know, I'm still going to vote for this guy. Sure. I don't understand trans people. I think they're weird. I think they're gross. But I'm not going to let that get in the way because I want fucking free healthcare. Because people make these decisions all the time. You should get people in the opposition to concede to your good policies, not constantly run in defense of the media ecosystem that your opposition has created. That's the problem with the Democrats. They are constantly running defense, and they're constantly being defined by the Republicans. And the reason why they're constantly being defined by the Republicans is because there's not a lot of daylight between their perspective on a lot of issues and the Republicans. Maybe the Republicans go too far, right? But if they hyper-focus just on the culture war stuff and then always run defense, run from a defensive posture on culture war issues, they're going to fucking keep losing. Israel is over. Israel's cooked. Even CNN has given up. Oh, yeah, no, this was awesome. Fucking Joanne Reed popped off on this. I saw this as well. Let's see what MSNBC is saying.
He'll be in charge, presumably, of a $120 billion budget, 300,000 workers in city and municipal government, a tremendous bureaucracy, and there's a lot of good that can be done through that. Just get the right people in place, work with the right folks, ask the right questions, and be undaunted. You know, try things, because clearly there's a lot that has been tried that isn't working. So, you know, he's going to have to meet the expectations of a lot of voters. He'll be moderated by some of the institutional politics, but that's not an excuse to sort of push the envelope a little bit, and you know, and take some chances, because that's what the voters elected him to do.
Zohran Mamdani will be on our airwaves tonight. He'll be Jen Psaki's guest tonight right here on MSNBC at 9 p.m. Eastern. Basil, thank you for spending time with us on all these stories today. Up next for us, Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Mamdani's progressive policies, lots of centrists say, no, that's not it, though AOC and Bernie Sanders will tell you that is exactly part of the winning formula. Or is it...
Why would you not listen to AOC and Bernie Sanders? Why would you not listen to Zohran Mamdani and his team on this? Why are these people speaking over the fucking actual campaign that won the actual race? It is crazy. It is crazy. They just don't want to fucking win, dude. They don't want to win. That's it.
That a young person appealed to young voters in an authentic way and was a consistent messenger about affordability, and the policy specifics are not part of the necessarily need to be part of the winning equation. That somebody, a more centrist Democrat.
Is this your biggest endorsement win? Probably. As far as like when I endorsed them, his chances of winning were definitely slim. Like I've obviously like campaigned actively for a bunch of candidates, like LA Comptroller, obviously, Hugo Soto Martinez, and a couple others in Los Angeles local elections. I mean, I won't fucking, like, AOC doesn't count. You know what I mean? AOC doesn't count. Like, that doesn't mean anything. And like John Fetterman doesn't count either, and not because he got hit with the fucking stroke gun. I'm saying that like, I mean like in terms of someone's chances of actually winning a race, going up a lot, like an underdog story.
Can also present an authentic way of reaching young and new voters with a consistent message on something like affordability and have success. That remains to be seen. But my goodness, look at the full spectrum inside the Democratic Party is on display today in terms of the reaction to it.
We'll talk about Joy and Reed in a second. I am beginning to fucking despise the third way dipshits trying to take credit for this, even though they actively fought against it. New York young Republicans are asking Trump admin to revoke Mamdani's citizenship and deport him. A call to action from the New York Young Republican Club. The radical Zohran Mamdani cannot be allowed to destroy our beloved city of New York. The Communist Control Act lets President revoke Zohran Mamdani's citizenship and promptly deport him. Oh, that's great. No, if they tried to do this, this would actually eradicate the Communist Control Act. It would be most likely declared unconstitutional by... Actually, what am I saying? The Supreme Court will probably continue its constitutionality. Who knows? I mean, this would be a major battle. This in and of itself, by the way, the Communist Control Act is fucking ridiculous. He's literally like, you Assam, bro, was born here. No, I don't think he was born here. I think he was born in Uganda. Why did AOC take so long to endorse Mamdani? Mamdani, was she riding the wave? No. She waited for, that was a tactical endorsement. She waited for the best time when a lot of people were fucking paying close attention. Okay? Calm down. She was timing it. Surprised he's not more of a dem on this? 30 years ago, 2 white men killed 168 people in Oklahoma City bombing. Now a white man is president. Still a fan of your logic, Charlie? I wish Dean would be more of a leftist. Like, I don't know. He's one of the only like debate guys out there that is that's doing decent work. I feel like I wish he would stop focusing so much on debating Trump supporters, even though it seems like a winning solution for him right now for his content, and become like an actual fucking leftist rather than stay on the liberal side. Those are the two concerns that I have. They're not like huge concerns or anything. It's just that I think that would help him. 10 observations about the Mamdani win in New York City. This feels like 2018. A young socialist wins the Dem primary in New York City, makes the headlines as the new face of the party. Then in November, moderates win big, flip 33 House seats blue, put a check on Trump. It's dangerous for Dems to learn the wrong lesson from such situations. The squad wasn't the path to a majority in 2018. It was the super talented moderates. Oh, I'm not going to read this. It's going to make me have an aneurysm. It's going to cause me to have an aneurysm. I don't want to see it. What is this? The Israeli Coalition for Regional Security, comprised of 100 senior Israeli figures, has launched a nationwide billboard campaign. Thoughts? The Abraham Alliance. It's time for a new Middle East. Yuck. Okay. A little bit of undermining. We covered that. Moderates riding a blue wave are talented. Yeah, exactly. What is this? Love in public. Cuomo didn't do it for me this time, but they shouldn't give up on him. If he comes back older, wiser, with a deeper tan and gets the endorsement of another old black politician my father remembers as an FBI plant in the civil rights movement, I'll still never vote for him. Maybe the old guard Democratic establishment should stop throwing their weight behind candidates that voters keep saying they don't want. Just an idea. Let's see what Harry Enton had to say. Holy Toledo! What is happening here?
Political earthquake that should have the Democratic establishment running scared. What are we talking about here? Well, New York City primary upsets like Mondani's. This is truly one for the record books. There are really only two that I could think of that are anything like this. And that's back in '89 for mayor when David Dinkins won over three-term mayor Ed Koch. Koch was running for a fourth term. The voters said, there was big turnout then, just like there was big turnout last night. And of course, more recently, if you want to take a look at a national picture, think back to 2018, New York's 14th Democratic primary going for Congress when AOC beat House Dem Caucus Chair Joe Crowley. This, to me, is very much like that, energizing young voters, energizing voters on the left, and providing what truly was a historic night last night in Democratic circles.
And, look, on paper, this is a mayor's race. This is also New York City, special city. But is this more a New York City thing, or is this more of a sign of a larger national trend when it comes to the Democratic Party?
Yeah, just like AOC's victory in 2018, this did happen locally, but I think you can take it up nationally. What are we talking about here? Well, you think about Democratic establishment, you think about Democratic Party leaders. Pretty much all of them were behind Andrew Cuomo. But the bottom line is the Democratic base is fed up, done with the Democratic establishment. This is true in New York. It's true nationally. Democrats who say their party leaders should be replaced. Look at this.
It seems like the people demand change. I don't like that. How do we stop them?
Jim Clyburn, who, of course, endorsed Andrew Cuomo. You think about all the Democrats that were behind Andrew Cuomo in the establishment. The Democratic base is fed up with them. And the bottom line is nationally, the vast majority of Democrats think that their party leaders should be replaced. But it's more than this, right? Of course, Mondani ran a pretty far left campaign, right, compared to what we normally see in Democratic circles. But the bottom line is, you talked to me 20, 30 years ago, there was no way I thought a Democratic socialist could win a nomination for mayor in New York or nationally. But look, Democrats who identify as liberal nationally, in 1994 is 25%. You go to 2004, 33%, 2014, 43%. Now the majority of Democrats nationally identify as liberal. If there are Democratic establishment folks who think this is just going to be contained in New York, I say this is a warning sign to you. It very much may not be.
Chuck Schumer saw this and almost died. Chuck Schumer saw the Zoran victory, had to get himself to basically fucking tweet out a message of support, and almost died in the process. Senator Chuck Schumer is treated for dehydration at a hospital. The Senate Minority Leader returned to work later in the day. Concerning. Yeah. He tweeted this out. I have known Zoran Mamdani since we worked together to provide debt relief for thousands of beleaguered taxi drivers and fought to stop a frack gas plant in Astoria. He ran an impressive campaign that connected with New Yorkers about affordability, fairness, and opportunity. I spoke with Zoran Mamdani this morning, and I'm looking forward to getting together soon. He fucking said this and almost died. must have been a tough one to tweet out, Chuck. I know your primary role by your own words is to make the left more pro-Israel. No endorsement. Well, yet he's gonna get Zoran to say "Am Israel high." Yeah, he said keep the left pro-Israel. If Zoran had lost, Chuck would have hailed the results as a repudiation of anti-Semitism. Zoran's victory has signaled to Chuck that the Democratic base has drawn a red line on everything he embodies. Elite support for Israel's genocide and contempt for working people. He sees where the wind is blowing. Yeah, he did. He saw where the wind is blowing, and it almost killed him. John Fetterman releases a statement on the New York City primary results. When does Zoran Momani Islam? It is clear that New York is Shia communist a lot. Higher tax is Sharia, ICE, but only for Jewish people? Immigrant mayor when no immigrant president, yes? Question Muslim authority in NY City has fallen. Today bad, tomorrow worse. Globalize intifada. Zeran Manandi. I condemn. M. Israel High. John Fetterman out. Yeah, Ken believes that Cuomo's going to run as an independent, and it's unsurprising. I couldn't believe when he actually conceded.
Disposed to consider staying on and having a vibrant campaign through November?
I am qualified. I have an independent line. That's done. And I am right now assessing that landscape and looking at the information, talking to people, talking to the stakeholders in my campaign.
We don't have to mock victims of medicine? Okay, good one.
About what that general election is going to look like. I can tell you there are a lot of people who have a lot of concerns.
Are you predisposed to...
John Fetterman reacts to Mamdani's success in New York City. I describe it as Christmas in July for the GOP.